quarterfinals of the Kwanzaa event here at the 2016 Potomac Curling Club Cherry Blossom Bonspiel. Kwanzaa basically being the B event. These teams have lost once, but are still very much in the tournament. Although they won't be after this game if they lose. These are loser-out games. The winners will move on to the Kwanzaa second semifinals at 10:15 this evening. We've got 4 games this draw. On sheet A, we have Robinson versus Schultz. Robinson from Pittsburgh against Schultz from Pittsburgh, a Pittsburgh battle. On sheet C, Hamilton from the Curling Club of Central Virginia against the Chesapeake Bayhoppers from Chesapeake, strangely enough. Over on sheet D, Broom Shooter 2 from Columbus against the Pawa Tahamu Potomac rink skipped by Melvin Shaw. And our feature game here on sheet B, the one we'll be paying the most attention to, is team top 4 from Nutmeg. That would be skipped by Andy Eaton, the vice Mark Zakin, second Brian Walker, lead Jeff Hannon, against the Rochester Royals, a mixed team from Rochester, the Potomac Curling Club, skipped by Bob Williams, the vice is Chris Lee, the second is Spencer Stevens, the lead is Chris Barajas. The Royals won the toss, elected the hammer, and have the yellow stones this game. So that puts the Nutmeg League, Jeff Hammond, in the house to prepare to throw his first stone. And wow, I nailed that timing because he's getting ready to deliver now. So for those of you joining us on the web stream, please note that if you go out to our live stream site, there is a chat commentary. You can ask us any questions about this game or any of the other games or what else is going on in the tournament. Or just make general commentary, crack bad jokes, whatever you like. We'll keep that stuff up to date as quickly as possible. All right, first stone of the game by Nutmeg lead Jeff Hannon was asked to be a center guard. Looks to me to be a little bit heavy and a little bit outside. Looks like it's going to end up in the house. Although, actually, no. Looks like Bob Williams is sweeping it through the house. Yep, through the house. First stone then. That happens sometimes. So we now have Rochester Royals lead Chris Barajas throwing his first stone of the game. He's being asked to put up a corner guard by Rochester skip Bob Williams. Sweepers appear to be on it pretty quick. Working it fairly hard. Looks like they're going to get it in a good ways. And yep, that's a nice solid corner guard over on the side of the sheet. Next stone up, being asked to be, appears to be a center guard, again by Nutmeg lead Jeff Hannon. This one looks to be lighter than the last one. He may have overcorrected. I'm not sure this is going to actually get past the hog. Yep, it's past the hog on the center line. Basically, actually drifted a lot further than I thought it was going to drift. It's a solid 3 guard, just off the center line to the left as we look down the sheet.
Yeah, that's solid enough placement for a guard, I think.
Absolutely. So they just scraped just before this game, and they literally were finishing up, taking the scraper off the ice as we were finishing our prep for this game. So the ice should be fairly swift, fairly fast, and pretty consistent for the first game right after a sweep. And we're seeing right now the Rochester Royals skip trying to take advantage of that by asking his second to put a stone behind the guard over on the side, but it went just a little bit deep through the house safely. Andy Eaton for Nutmeg asking Brian Walker his second to, he'd like to pull it to the top 4 behind his center line guard. He has indicated he's okay if it comes up a little short as a second guard. So this would be Brian Walker throwing his first stone of the game. looks like it's gonna not quite curl over as much as he might have expected it to, but it is going to make the house in the top 12 foot, basically.
Yeah, not perfect positioning with that stone, but not bad. I mean, it leaves an opportunity here for the hit and roll, which is what it looks like they're calling.
Yeah.
But it's pretty high. It doesn't give them an opportunity to really bury here.
Yeah, agreed. And that would be Spencer Stevens from the Potomac Curling Club, the second this game for the Rochester/Potomac team. It looks like he's gonna just make some contact on the outside. Chips it over. Is it gonna go out? No, actually it chips it over to be behind, in the 12 foot behind the cover. Next stone on its way from Brian Walker. Again, being asked to draw behind the cover. It looks like he may have overcorrected. First stone might stop in the house. Yes, stopped back at the back of the 8 foot, so red nutmeg is currently lying 2. That stone is completely exposed, not behind the center line guard at all. It's actually on the right side of the center line as opposed to the guard on the left. Bob Williams asking Spencer with his second shot to actually not play with that stone at all, but instead to freeze to the other red stone out over in the 12 foot out to the left. Spencer's stone is in flight. Lots of people standing, watching. It's hard for me to see it. It's coming across. Is it past the guard?
It's definitely past the guard.
Past the guard.
Makes contact with the red.
Rolls to be...
Looks to be sitting as the shot stone, but
yeah,
not under any of the guards at the moment.
Nice hit there by Nutmeg Vice Mark Zakin. Nutmeg lying probably 2. Chris Lee, vice for the Rochester Royals, letting his stone go. His first stone of the game. He's being asked to do a hit, and I believe trying to roll out behind the cover one way or the other. He does get the hit. He rolls past the cover, but he's in front of that red stone that was sitting back there just outside the 12 foot. So it's probably in a fairly secure position. He's not shot at the moment, though. There is still a red stone over in the back 8, just right at the center line.
So we've got Dorothy in the chat asked, who's playing second for the Royals? Where is Janiak? I can't answer your second question. I don't know where Chris Janiak has gone to, but I can tell you that the current second for the Rochester Royals is actually Spencer Stevens from here at the Potomac Curling Club, filling in sort of as a spare / fifth on their team.
Yeah, my understanding is that Chris was not able to make the trip. I do not 100% know why. We just hope it's nothing serious and everything is fine back in Rochester. Meanwhile, Nutmeg Vice Mark Zakin threw another stone into be lying 2. One back in the back center line, one just to the right of the center in the back 8. Looks like Bob Williams is asking Chris Lee, his vice, to take out at least the top one of those, and if they both happen to go, he won't complain. No, Chris played earlier. Okay, then he must have made the trip, and then I'm not sure what's up. That hit wrecked the first stone back onto the second. It is still, so there's still a red stone as shot in the back 8 foot, just nestling the center line. As we're heading into skip stones, Nutmeg, Skip, Andy Eaton getting ready to throw his first one. First skip stone for Andy Eaton on the way. I believe he's being asked to, he's looking to either guard up his shot stone or pull in behind the cover onto the center line. The Vice coming out to assist in the sweeping. We got 3 brooms on this right now. It's coming up short of the house. No, it actually drifts in. Drifts into the full 8, pulls across the center line. In the house, and it guards up that second back stone pretty well. Bob Williams has the hammer this end. We're not on the hammer stone yet. It's getting ready to throw his first skips rock, but he's looking to hit that top one, and if he drives it straight back, they should both go.
Yeah, there's two pretty good options there. If you make the sort of straight back double, yellow could be sitting 2. One of them end up probably exposed, though. The other option is, like you said, just at the top one. Maybe they can roll under cover.
Right. And he's kind of okay if he leaves his shot exposed. He doesn't mind because he's got the yellow stone over on the left-hand side, hanging out there very absent-mindedly over in the rings. So he wouldn't actually mind sitting there being exposed and trading hits because he takes it too if he does that.
Yeah, I mean he's set up pretty well to be able to score with his hammer. So.
Yeah. First though, he's got to make this hit. Feels a little inside to me. No, it's drifting out nicely. Okay, he's got a good smooth delivery line. He's got his sweepers on it. Actually, that looks darn near perfect. Boom, boom, boom. That is exactly perfect. That's exactly what he asked for. Lies to. Right exactly what he wanted to do. Well thrown.
Yep, so Red now with their last stone, I guess needs to hit this and then just roll under and try to be as covered as they can to force the draw for one.
I'm sure he's trying to hit this and then roll behind that center line guard to make the steal as likely as possible. And it's coming down. Needs to curl a little bit more if it wants to roll at all. At the moment, it looks like it's going to be a nose hit. He's just going to sit there exposed. Gets some rolled. It's nowhere near enough, though. He gets the hit, but he's wide open and exposed in the 12-foot. So all that Bob Williams needs to do is just nose hit that. Boom, he's got 2. So I'm sure that's exactly what he's got in mind. They've certainly laid the broom for that. Stone on the way. Sweepers, one sweeper on it. I'm not sure if that's directional sweeping or if they're just keeping it clean. It's got the nose hit. It's a clean nose hit. Slight roll to the inside. No big deal. Everything's happy. Take of 2 with the hammer. Team Williams, the Rochester Royals, plays that pretty much textbook, really, to take their 2 to go up 2-0 over the top 4 team from Nutmeg. Let's get an update over on the other sheets. Thank you. Over on sheet C, that would be the Chesapeake Bayhawkers game where Rick Bulala drew to the full 8 to take 1 over his over Team Hamilton. And then over on sheet A, Mark Robinson's team from Pittsburgh, he actually did a hit and roll to blank the end deliberately against the single barrel team from Pittsburgh, where sheet D is still in the first end. We'll provide an update there as soon as we can.
Okay, we've got an update in the chat for anyone who can't see that. Chris Janak will return this evening for the 10 p.m. draw. So,
assuming, of course, that they win.
Well, of course.
This is unfortunately a loser-out game. We're at that chunk of the tournament. But so apparently he's just taking a game off, and nothing wrong with that. These guys will have played 3 games today by the time they're done at the 10 p.m., so you can't blame them that at all. All right, looks like Chris Barajas was asked by the skip to put his first stone on the button, and honestly, I'd say that stone's on the button. So.
Oh yeah, that doesn't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As an official, I can say that measures out 0.0.
There you go. Now you can see that at home. Not much button under that rock.
Yeah. No, our button markers are not yellow. They're usually white, but there's a stone. That's a textbook button draw. I mean, you can't ask for anything more button than that. I think he was being Jeff Hannon from Nutmeg was being asked to do something about that, but the stone's just too light. It's over curling. So as a result of the weight, I think. So he's out in the edge 4. I'm not sure if he was.
That was either just really kind of sad and light for a hit, or just a little heavy for a corner guard.
Yeah, and I'm not sure which way it went, but either way, that's not where he wanted to be. I guarantee that much. So Bob Williams asking Chris Barajas to take that out with his second stone. Not all leads have solid hit games at this level. Let's see what he's got. He's got the sweepers on it pretty hard. Sounds like contact is contact. Roll to the inside, bumps his over, exposes the button. But now he's got it nicely bracketed with 2 yellow stones. I think they're close. Yeah, they're close enough together. It's a pocket. He could blast if he wanted to. I don't know if that's what he wants to do strategically at this point, but it is an option. Or he could. I think he's just kind of drawing into it at this line.
I think drawing in is maybe the better play to try to score multiple points.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not. You just got to make sure that you get there. With the line more so than the weight, because if you're short, as long as you're in the pocket, that's fine. You're safe. But if you miss your line and you're not in the pocket, you're sitting out there exposed. Or if the stone doesn't curl as much as you're expecting, which is what's going on here, it's actually going to tick off the leftmost of those 2 stones, drive it back and out of the house. So yellow's lying 1, red's got an exposed stone over in the 4-foot. But if Bob Williams has anything to say about that, Spencer Stevens is about to fix that problem. He's asking Spencer Stevens, who is functioning as a substitute in this game for Chris Janiak, who is apparently taking this game off to tend to some sort of family business. We hope everything's okay. But we're expecting him back at 10 o'clock, assuming that their team wins this game. So Spencer Stevens, serving as the second as sub, is being asked to hit and roll slightly to the inside. Looks like he's going to get the hit, but I don't think he's going to roll in. No, in fact, slides out to the outside just slightly. That's kind of okay too, really.
Yeah, a good amount of separation between those stones is a pretty good play.
Yeah. Okay, Team A, that's our sheet D is the sheet that we don't know what happened in End 1, and we still don't know. Over on sheet D, we know that Melvin Shaw's team, Paua Tahamu, hit, and we believe they stuck for 1. It's possible it was 2. They haven't actually posted the score yet, so we're not 100% sure. Gian is keeping track of the off-sheet scores for us, and he'll update it as soon as he knows something for sure. So we're very thankful he's doing that for us, because that makes my life a lot easier, because I don't got to pay attention to it. He's got it. Okay, so we're being told that Christianiak's absence was actually a planned absence. This was the plan all along, so everything is happy. Yay. And that's the best of all possible news for us to hear.
Looks real nice. Might be a little heavy.
Spencer's second stone is being asked to kind of draw to a guard, but it's a little heavy for a guard.
It's a little heavy, and the line is a little off to really guard either one of those.
Yeah,
stones,
really, he's just sitting on the button as a third button. With a hard enough hit, a triple's in play. It would be a wicked hard stone, but
yeah, I'm not sure that our stones are quite active enough anymore for that to.
Okay, that's a good point. But the plan is certainly to make something go bye-bye.
Oh, you can definitely move a good number of these at once. Just probably not all of them.
Brian Walker is planning on getting rid of at least one of them. He's got to get rid of exactly one of them. His shooter spins out to the edge 12. So the Rochester Royals team currently sitting 2 in the 4-foot, 1 hard on the button, 1 half on the button. And he's being asked, is he really calling for a 6-foot curl on a draw, or is he hitting that red stone?
This might be like 4-foot curl in the draw and just draw to the sort of gap in there, just hit 3.
Could be, not that way.
That's a takeout.
He's hitting that red. Basically, he's playing the I'm okay with giving red 1 point. When he's going out here to the edge of the sheet, he needs to make sure that stone doesn't hit that red line first. It did. It's out of play, so even if it made contact. Out there on the edge of the sheet, the rule is if the stone touches that red line in the slightest, even if it curls back, it's out. The out-of-bounds line is out.
Control.
All right, now I think we're trying to get rid of the other 2. So that would be Nutmeg Vice, Mark Zakin being asked with his first stone to evict. Let's go with evict some stones from the button.
This line isn't bad. It's going to need to curl back a bit to get both, but it's definitely got 1.
Got 1, moved the second one about an inch. Yeah, 6 inches or so.
That's not bad.
No, really, because
red has now split the house out.
Yeah, the house is split.
No
Yellow's
guards up, so that yellow is not safe in the slightest.
No. Looks like Bob Williams is asking his vice, Chris Lee, to hit the stone in the right hand of the 12-foot.
Left for review at home.
Left for those of you doing it at home. And roll towards the center.
Yes!
Put the sweepers on it immediately as though he's concerned about an over curl, and I share his concern. That's looking, I think he's got it, and the question is how far is he going to roll? He rolls past the guard position over to the back 12-foot. So yellow lying 2, both completely exposed. It's not doubleable, that's for certain. So Nutmeg just trying to figure out what to do. Basically, it looks like he's just trying to hit it. Nutmeg's got some work to do to not be stuck with a draw for 1 here. I don't think the end's really blankable with all the stone in play. Got the hit and rolled to the button. There's been more stones on that button this game than there are in entire seasons sometimes around here, and it's only the second end. So we now have Bob Williams sizing up his last stone of the end.
This should be his first stone of the end. I have this as first yellow skip stone.
That wouldn't make any sense, because didn't red skip just through his first stone?
No, I believe that was the red Vice's last.
Was that the Vice's last stone? Okay, I must have.
Yeah,
I swear I only see one red stone at the far end, but I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I'm used to it.
I see 6 in play for each team, so.
Okay, then that
6
answers the
at the
question.
playing end, obviously not in play. But
That takes care of that problem then. So okay, so this is Bob Williams' first skip stone. My apologies. As he's looking to hit that stone that's on the button. He'd probably like to roll one way or the other. He probably doesn't want to really sit there, but I'm also not sure he's that picky about it, really.
As long as he moves the red here, he pretty much has a good shot at taking away the chance at a 2.
Right. He's got to get the hit. Did he hit it heavy enough to stay in play? No, he did not. So yellow lies 1, very exposed. Red does have a second stone in the house. So Andy Eaton going to hit that red. Now, is he actually hitting to remove or just tap back? Looks like hit to remove.
Yeah, I think because of where the other red stone is, the one that's already in the house, he has to remove this. I mean, he can tap it enough that he could still lie 2 here, but.
Yeah.
If he can remove the yellow and stay in play, stay in the house, then he might have his 2 back because the yellow rock didn't stick on the last shot.
Especially if he can get a little bit of roll towards the center line.
Yeah, if he can separate
while
these
still
two,
stick
so
around. Yeah. So this is Andy Eaton, the skip for nutmeg, throwing his first stone at the second end. Looking for a hit, and probably we're believing a roll to be inside is his ideal desire. No sweepers on it. I think they're asking for it to curl some, and I can't say I blame them if it's what I'm seeing. Okay, sweepers are on it now. Curl apparently has developed.
It's a little soft. This might be more of a little tap or a freeze.
And it's got to be a remove.
It's got to be enough to move it because it's not that far back.
And I don't think. I don't think they're doubleable. I mean, you can take a shot at it, you might get it, but I don't think the way our stones go, I don't think it's realistically a doubleable shot. He's certainly considering it, though. Bob Williams is certainly considering it. He also probably wouldn't mind hitting that outer one and rolling to be kind of a freeze on the inner one. As long as he's shot, that would be a difficult remove.
Yeah. Perhaps worth noting, I'm not sure how much it's been brought up so far in the Bonspiel. Bob Williams, obviously originally from Rochester, wearing his Rochester Curling Club ice crew jacket, Rochester hat, but does curl out of the Potomac Curling Club.
Yes.
Plays on Wednesday nights with, I think, the Clausens, or is it the Compenics?
Yes, he plays with the Clausens.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. He kicked my rear end on Thursday night a couple weeks ago. It wasn't even pretty. Well, it was pretty from their point of view.
You're never narrow, let's just say that.
So actually, it looks like on the line that they're playing, they're just looking to hit that one, right? Or no, never mind. Ignore me. I'm crazy. He's looking to hit the stone out there on the outer edge of the 12-foot on the tee line, and either roll. If he rolls to move that second red, that's great. If he freezes in front of it, that's okay too.
Even if he just rolls to the center or something, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to make the red team make
Or
a shot.
he could flash straight through the port.
Oh, wow.
That was worst possible results for Bob Williams. That he probably didn't even envision that as possible, to be honest. handed nutmeg and open draw to the full touch paint for 3. Just all he has to do is hit some colored ice. Andy Eaton settling in the house, or settling in the hack rather, to deliver his final stone. It's just a draw. He's just looking to get somewhere. He's got his sweeper keeping it clean, but that's just to keep it clean. It's not really to do anything.
Yep, it doesn't need any help with the weight, but it's not too much. It's a very nice draw weight.
It's a very nice draw. It's going to be slightly deeper than tee, but not enough that it's going to be swept out of the house. Well, you know, actually, I take that back.
Whoa, look at that. It does
in fact go through the house. They're looking at it to be sure, but nope, they kick it out. Yep. That's a score of 2 for red. So after 2, this game is all square. Let's see what's going on out on some other sheets. Over on sheet C, that would be the game between Team Hamilton and the Chesapeake Bay Hoppers. There were a couple of early misses in that end, and it set up a situation where Travis Hamilton was able to steal 1. And then on sheet A, we had another blank between Robinson and Schultz. This is a Pittsburgh battle of who's going to be forced to score first, I think. So that should be entertaining. And sheet D is still wrapping up their second end, so we'll bring you up on what's going on there as soon as we know. I know I guarantee one thing. At the end of this game on sheet A, a team from Pittsburgh will be advancing.
Oh, never mind. I was like, I think I lost the rock somehow. But no, it turns out one of our cameras just kind of locked up. And it's back. Okay. In a brief moment of panic when I couldn't find the rock on any of the 4 cameras.
I hate it when that happens.
It turned out just the second camera just was frozen and just didn't show the rock when it went by.
Oh, well, at least we're back. All right, so we are now couples working on our second stone here of this third end. Rochester lead Chris Barajas being asked to throw something wide and in the house.
It's definitely wide.
It's definitely
in the house.
Unless it goes through. Oh, yep, it's a 12-footer, 12-foot, about T-weight in the house. I need a thing. I need a pokey stick.
They used to keep a broom here at the table, actually, just for that.
Yeah. So we just like to take a moment here as we're working our way through the third end to point out that this draw is brought to you by the Embassy Row Bonspiel coming this October, hosted right here at Potomac. November? Actually, you're right. It is early November. And for those of you who have been eagerly awaiting this information, it will be a South Korean theme this year. So we're being promised by event coordinator Spencer Stevens that we're going to have lots of K-pop, kimchi, and Korean barbecue during that event. 24 teams, open sign-up, open format. Sign-ups will be available sometime this summer. Pay attention to our website, curldc.com, or .org rather, for more information about that. And we got an update over on sheet D. Burkett had an opportunity to draw for his 2, but he left it up light. He only took the 1, so after 2 ends, over there on sheet D, the Broom Shooter 2 team from Columbus is tied with Powhatahamu from Potomac at 1. Thank you, team. that stone took a sharp cut all of a sudden. Yeah, they're picking something off the ice. Apparently it picked up something.
Yep, that one took a left turn at Albuquerque, I believe
Yeah.
would be the phrase.
Exactly. Took a left turn at 2-guard. And it is now a 3-guard, about a foot short of the
Turned
house.
into a fairly nice guard.
Yeah, actually, it's a workable
wasn't at all
guard.
what they wanted. But
No, but it's perfectly viable. So, you know, hey.
Yep, down, down. No. Come on, get back here. Get back here. I think you got it. I think you got both. Nice. Good job.
Well executed double guard hit by Spencer Stevens. Took both red guards out of play. His stone sits off the center line about a foot to the right of the center line. The shot stone from Nutmeg is exposed, just touching top 4. Since it's exposed, he's asking his second to cover it up. He's looking for a 3-guard. One sweeper on it. And that stone overcurled a little bit too. It's guarding the guard, basically. Bob Williams asking Spencer to remove that red nutmeg stone, and I think he wants to just roll to the right just a little bit to get behind those 2 guards. We're talking like a foot of roll at the most.
Hold up. No, got a curl. Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Hold up. Up. We're not rolling under.
No! Never! No.
Not quite roll under, but he did get the hit. He rolled slightly to the inside. And ironically, although neither of these skips chose to be mic'd for this game, the in-house mic is picking up Bob Williams very clearly, which is those are pretty good mics.
Yeah, the house mics are placed between sheets B and C, so we do get a lot of the action from the feature sheet on B. We do get to hear a lot of the line calls and the word calls.
So Mark Zakin's first stone for Nutmeg being asked to hit the stone that Spencer Stevens just delivered. I don't think this is coming back.
Yeah, the weight looks okay, but it's just not going to...
No, here it comes. It's going to get the hit.
Okay.
It's going to get the hit, and it's going to roll out of play. So Williams still lies 2 over there in the 12-foot over there on the far right. Up until now, all the action had been kind of centered around the, strangely enough, the center. But
not quite like last end, though. It's not quite like last end, though, where they just sort of took turns covering the button.
Yeah. Truthfully, so far to this point, both of these teams are playing very solid game. That's why it's tied at 2. It's a very solid, very competitive game. It's got to come down to which team just makes that one shot, you know. Chris Lee's first stone. He's being asked to draw behind the cover. I think it's too heavy. Oh yeah, that's sliding through and just out of play by about 2 inches or so. So Andy Eaton now has an opportunity to actually play with those 2 yellow stones out there on the side and see what he wants to do with it. Okay, he's suggesting a draw to a freeze. Vice didn't shake him off. He's still considering it. Yep, he's going with it. He wants to draw to the freeze to that yellow stone, currently shot stone, just behind the tee line over the 12-foot over on the right side of the sheet. So he's asking Mark Zakin to call that stone. They called that stone for about 4.5 feet of curl, which might be an aggressive curl at draw weight.
Yeah, it's not quite coming off the guards. Yeah.
No. Although he got a tick.
back.
Did he get what he wanted out of the tick?
Almost.
Kinda. That stone appears to be third shot right now. It is in the house, but only 3/4 in the house. Yeah, that's the third shot stone. That's an unfortunate miss.
Pretty close to where he was trying to put it, but not.
But unfortunately, outside of the stone instead of inside, and not quite frozen. So didn't really accomplish the goal.
Yeah, the weight was pretty good there, but the line just not right, wrecking on the guard, and
Right.
not getting the quite the bounce he needed off the guard.
Yeah. So Chris Lee throwing his second stone. He's being asked to draw behind again. The way the sweepers are looking at it, it's as though they've given up on it, and it's through the house. And no, it is sticking in the back of the 12-foot. It's second shot at the moment, and did they get behind the guard? Oh, yeah, they're well behind the guard, cover. So right now, Williams, I'm sorry, top four, no, yep, I'm sorry. Williams, the Rochester Royal team, is laying 1, 2, 3. As we prepare to rock some skip granite.
Yes, the first 3 shooters for each team have gone and made whatever this is. And now the 2 skips will see who can clean it up the best.
Yeah. A lot of stones in play. Kind of an interesting tactical situation here. The button is open, particularly going from the left to the right. A little bit guarded from the right to the left. But yellow, the team who has hammer this end, is already laying 3. So Nutmeg's problem is how to cut that down, because a 4 in this game would be a huge thing. A 3 would even be pretty big. Sweepers are hard on this.
Yeah, this does not have a lot of weight, but the past few have been heavy, so this might be about right.
Yeah, it's still gliding pretty well. One sweeper's still on it, but I don't think they made up. They did not make the house. It's actually the shortest of all the guards so far. So the attempt to draw behind just did not quite go. Now, Bob Williams, I'm assuming that he's drawing from that side, because that's not wide enough to be guarding his 2. So he must be trying to draw in behind the cover. He's trying to draw in behind the guards from the other side.
Yeah, that seems to make sense. You use the open side there where you can't wreck on a redstone.
Exactly.
If you can draw top 8, top 4,
yeah,
you'll be shot and you'll be covered.
Yeah, the only risk is if he remains completely exposed in like the top 12 or top 8, he does open up a possibility for a hit and roll behind cover for a possible steal. So you either need to leave this. You either need to get this behind the cover or leave this deep enough that that's not an issue. Nice gentle delivery with a pretty positive turn. Feels a little heavy in my opinion, but
he's got a lot of backing coming around this side. Like you said, he definitely doesn't want to leave this high.
Well, the sweepers just got on it, so apparently they don't think it's heavy. It has started to cut. It's cutting across. It's about a quarter buried behind the guard, 3/4 exposed on the outside. It is behind the tee, pretty much just touching the 4, mostly in the 8. I think it's exposed enough, unfortunately, that with a delicate weight shot, Andy Eaton could tap it and could roll in to where he'd be basically in the back 4 foot and basically inextractable. That is basically what it looks like he's throwing for. Vice is saying the stone's got to move. It's still pretty well outside, but there has been a lot of late finish on these lately. But at this point, I don't think it's got nearly enough finish. I don't think it's going to get there. No, it is in fact going to just miss.
Oh, wow.
It does cut yellow out of 3 of the 4 stones that they had, so now yellow only lies one.
That is interesting. If it weren't for the guards, yellow could just run the shot rock back and get a 5. But
because of the
that
guards,
shot rock is guarded, that did pretty effectively cut yellow down to 1.
yeah. I mean,
Which now yellow just draws for 2.
I mean, there's enough exposure there. He could, if he was being aggressive, he could try to catch the inside corner of that. He might lose one of those 2 yellow stones back there, but he could potentially still get 3 or 4 out of it. But I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's taking the safe draw for 2. We'll know for sure here in about 35 seconds.
Yep. Whoa. Center guard, please.
Stone is on its way for Rochester Royals skip Bob Williams. Yeah, judging from that, he's just trying to draw.
Looks a bit heavy for a draw. But he's got it he's got on the back end.
Actually, if this comes back a little bit, he might get that tap on the red. No.
Nope, but he may have outcounted the red.
I don't
close.
know. I think red's 2.
It's at least 1 yellow.
It's at most 2. It's at least 1. It's at most 2. They've got an agreement. I'm not sure what the agreement is. So we know yellow scored 1 or possibly 2. Are they hanging a number? They are not hanging a number. That'd be too easy. We know yellow got. Oh, there we go. They're grabbing. Nope, they're not. They teased. Thought the vice was going back there to grab a number. All right, we got some updates from some of the other sheets. All right, on sheet C, that would be the Hamilton versus Bayhoppers game. Hamilton managed to hang 2 biters out on the edge and got a 3 out of it to go up 3-2 after. Wait a minute, are you sure that was Hamilton and not the Bayhoppers? Was that red? Red scored the 3, right?
Yeah, line.
Oh, Hamilton's red? I had that backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So Hamilton is now up 3-2 over the Bayhoppers. And over on sheet A, Robinson was going for a hit, came up a little bit thin. Schultz ended up stealing 1 to go up 1-0 after 3. Sheet D is still in the 3rd end. So that gets us up to date at this point. As we're progressing through the 4th end here in these Kwanzaa events quarterfinals.
And they did hang a score. That was 1 yellow.
Was 1 yellow?
So we do have a score of 3-2.
3-2.
Rochester over the Nutmeg/Rochester team of top 4.
So all of our games, no, that's not true. Most of our games are the 3rd end. The game D, sheet D game between the Broom Shooters and Powhatahamu is still in the 3rd end, and they're having a discussion of some sort over there. Not sure what that was all about. That's okay.
And look at that. What have we got? We've got another rock on the button.
Go figure.
Mine's good. Let it back.
Royals lead. Chris Brajas throwing his 2nd stone. He's being asked to tap that stone that was on the button, off of the button. He does so. Moves it back to the back 12. Shooter sticks in the 4-foot. That's pretty much exactly what was asked for, really. everybody's pretty happy with that result, I think.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I don't have any reason to not be.
Yeah, I'm
I mean, you said everybody.
yeah, I know. I meant it. Your happiness with that shot actually was concerned about. Nutmeg second to Brian Walker. Actually, is that still the lead? I'm sorry, that's the lead throwing his second stone. That's Jeff Hannon throwing his second stone. He's going to
nice little
tap that yellow back. Looks strangely familiar. Tap the shot back to the back 12. Sit in the 4 foot just off the center line to the left. I'm having deja vu. Both teams appear to be reading out of the same playbook for this end. As the seconds go first, or go next. Spencer Stevens throwing his first stone. He's being asked to deal with that red stone. And looks like a solid hit. How far out's he gonna roll? He rolls out to the outer 12 foot. As opposed to the inner 12 foot, which is a thing. Brian Walker stone had some sweeping action on it. Got the hit on the outside stone, lightly rolled over. Red is currently actually sitting 2, both in the 12 foot. And looks like Bob Williams is asking Spencer Stevens to hit that just delivered red stone and roll slightly to the inside. Feels a little wide to me. Feels a lot wide to me. Yeah, stuck around on the outside. Third shot right now. Red still sitting 1. Yeah, it looks like Bob was not completely happy with something with that delivery. Nutmeg second, Brian Walker. During delivery. As we have an update on the third end over on sheet D. There, it came down to a measurement, but Melvin Shaw's team, Powhatahamu, did not win the measurement. They just got the 1 to be up 2-1 after 3 over the Broom Shooters. So we have a lot of very close, tight, competitive games here in this B event quarterfinal, the Quanzan Cherry event. Nutmeg Stone being asked to draw in behind the cover. Draws in the house, is currently shot stone, but is completely exposed. So that opens up opportunities for Bob Williams to ask his vice, Chris Lee, to hit that and roll about 18 inches to the right, left as you see it on screen, and get behind the cover. Got the hit, but it's going to roll further than he wanted. May actually even go all the way out of play. shooter rolls out of play. So Nutmeg still laying 1. Rochester has 2 stones, sitting as the 2-3. There's also a center guard up top. This Nutmeg Stones coming in, and it's draw top 4. Get exposed again. As Chris Lee being asked with his second stone at the end, again to try to do the hit and the roll to the inside. Got the hit, but I don't think it's going to roll in. I think it's going to roll to the outside. Does in fact roll to the outside. Might be shot. Probably not though.
No, pretty sure the
red stone is still
it's
shot.
It's closer than I thought it was going to be when I looked.
They're taking a look to be sure, so so there's a question there. But apparently Andy Eaton's pretty well convinced that he must have shot because he's looking to draw behind the cover again. This would be the 3rd stone in a row he's tried to put back there.
Oh, look at that, we're up to 45 viewers. Last time I looked, we only had 33.
Wow. And for all those viewers, please remember you can type in questions, concerns, comments, rooting, cheering out there on the chat box, and we'll get to all that stuff as fast as we can. Almost as fast as Andy Eaton, the Nutmeg Skip, ran out there to get his broom on this stone to try to get the length out there. They get it to the 4-foot in pretty much, and I swear I am not a broken record. I am not on auto repeat. It's in the 4-foot. Exposed on the left, and Bob Williams is going to attempt to hit this and roll behind the cover.
So what do you want to bury another one then? Yeah, I know.
Well, we've all heard the saying, if you want a job done right,
do it yourself.
And that's what Bob Williams is going to attempt to do here.
Nutmeg would really like to take 2 instead of just 1 with this. And actually, they're in a situation right now where it's completely possible because they do have hammer at this end. So Bob pretty much needs to get behind that cover in such a way as to make it to put a little challenge in there at least. He's coming at this from the outside. Is he trying to hit this so that he can make the double? He's trying it, and he's got it moving, and it nudges it.
I briefly considered that the way they rolled on the first one, that maybe they were trying to double, but I think it really wasn't even worth going for it. They really just needed to try to get the shot.
Well, but he may actually have nudged that enough. I'm looking at it, admittedly, on our overhead. It is a kind of a fisheye overhead. It's not perfect. It's not exact. But from what I'm seeing, it's questionable. It is questionable. It's not a given. So Nutmeg getting ready to throw their first stone of 2 for Andy Eaton, their skip. Currently down 3-2, but he does have the hammer. So that's kind of, we'll see how that's all going. I think we've got a score update from sheet C. Yep. Okay. Rick Bilala from the Chesapeake Bayhoppers drew into the back 4 to take 1. So that game after 4 is tied at 3, I believe. Is that correct? Yes, tied at 3. And they're in the 5th. They're the speedy game of this set. That game between Team Hamilton, the Curling Club of Central Virginia, against the Chesapeake Bay Hoppers from, strangely enough, Chesapeake.
And now we're back on the 39 viewers. 6 people just found something better to do on their Saturday night.
They were all just waiting for that 4th end update from Sheet C, and they're like, oh, okay, I know what I need to know. Bye.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Now it is dinner time. Probably smells like. Okay. First nutmeg stone is on its way. It appears that Andy is not at all certain about if that yellow stone over here on the left side, right side as you guys see it, is shot or not. So he's looking to do something about it, but I think he's wide.
He's wide, he's gonna hit the top one.
He took the other one out. He rolled inside. Okay, he has definitely got shot
There's
now.
no question
And he
about it.
actually turned it into a freeze. So actually that's beautiful placement, honestly. That stone is that stone's going to be there at the end of the end, basically. There's not much you can do about that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easily removable, but not without removing the yellow behind it.
Yeah, okay. But
and so yeah, yellow doesn't want to just smash that pair.
right,
Because they don't have third shot to
Right.
remove those 2.
so it looks like they're trying to deal with what used to be arguably shot is now unquestionably second shot. Over here on, from my point of view, right, your point of view, left side of the sheet. Actually, looking at it on the overhead, it's actually splittable. He could, never mind. He could basically try to play the same thing, hit that shot stone, and he could nestle, although it wouldn't be shot at the end of it. So I don't know. We'll see what he's mostly trying to just go with the hit or the tap. He's got his sweepers on it. He wasn't going for that stone at all. He had the complete other handle. He was trying to tap that one, which seems like... He tapped it out. Shooter rolled out.
I mean, he did remove a red from play, but it was one that wasn't counting. Or if it was counting third.
Yeah.
So red still line shot and with hammer now can try to get a 2.
Yeah, yeah, because this is the hammer getting ready to be thrown. So no, actually they can only get 2. They're not going to get 3 out of this.
Well, right, that's what I said.
Yeah.
But after making a nice force last end, 2 is really all they need.
Yeah, it's true. A two puts them in the lead after 4. And the stone's on the way. It doesn't even really need to be a tag. It could just be a draw in. It doesn't even really need to be anything special.
Yeah, they just got to touch the influence earlier, and they've got at least that much.
This stone
maybe
looks
too
like
much.
it's got that. Well, they've got the backing in the back. So, yep, that's a nice back 8 draw. And 1, 2 red. So Nutmeg takes 2. They are now up 4-3 at the halfway mark of this game between the Rochester Royals and Team Nutmeg top 4. We got an update over here over on sheet A. In that very closely played game, Mark Robinson from Pittsburgh managed to get a hit and his shooter stuck. He took his 2. He takes the lead over Single Barrel from Pittsburgh in that Pittsburgh death match, 2-1 after 4. And we do not know what's happened in the 4th end over on sheet D yet, because well, they're still curling the 4th end over on sheet D. So here we go, starting the second half of the game. Hope you all enjoyed the marching bands and fireworks, pyrotechnics during halftime. As Jeff Hannon has now thrown his first stone.
I could admit, all during the 4th end, I was trying to come up with some sort of halftime show joke to make, and I just couldn't come up with it.
I must have been channeling you because it was like, yep, okay, we got to go there. So first stone went into the house. First stone went into the house. It's in. It's not on the button, so it's actually worse than the average first stone at these ends. And yellow is also trying to draw into the other side of the house. And puts up a 3 guard, which actually was probably what they were trying to do. So apparently we're varying up the playbook this time. We're not going to chase the center. We're not going to play chase the button. Button. Who's got the button?
Well, right now red's got the button. Well, not quite.
Not quite. The button's actually exposed at the moment.
Brian. Keep it coming, guys. He's coming in nice. He's coming in.
Nutmeg throwing up a guard up in front of there as it gets. It's a functional guard. It's about 75 or 80% covered. It's a 3, so it's actually, since we're actually still in free guard zone, it's not actually removable at the moment. At least not with this stone by Chris Barajas. And actually, that's not even what Bob Williams is even looking at. He's looking at drawing behind his guard that he had Chris throw with his first stone. Both sweepers are on it pretty hard.
Switch back. We're overdoing it now. We're the whole way.
Looks like he's going to tap off the guard, get a slight rub, roll over towards the middle. Yep, half in the 12. Exposed in the house. I'm anticipating that stone has a very short remaining lifespan.
Just control.
Yeah, at first I didn't love the call, but I can't really think of anything better to do at the moment than just get that out of the air.
Yeah.
If you're red, you've got the center and you've got the guard. So just
this is going to be a very tight technical end, apparently. It's going to come down to who misses the hit. Or who only gets half a hit, even would be just as bad. And this one looks like it's just going to be a nose replace, which actually means it won't be in the house. Oh, well, it actually got away with it. Just taps the red stone over slightly with the yellow hit as it goes out of play. And actually that red shooter might be hanging on the 12-foot over to the right. It's hard to tell with the overhead camera and the shadows and such. I'm not sure. Spencer Stevens being asked to deal with, is he being asked to deal with that? With the guard? Or is he being asked to draw again? No, he's being asked to draw again.
Yep.
Sweepers on it hard. They got this past the top guard, but did not make the house. So Nutmeg, at the moment at least, in a fairly strong position. Team top 4 second, Brian Walker, being asked to guard the intern line, probably at about a 3 depth. It's a very nip-tuck game, so guards are going to be very important things here. Stone is not cutting as much as they want it to. Trying to drag it. Okay, there's the cut. And I don't think it bent as much as they really wanted it to. It is a guard, but I think the path is there. And it looks to me as though Bob Williams is asking Spencer Stevens to at least peel that top guard. I don't think he's going to peel it. I think he's going to nose it. No, he's got to get some roll to the inside. So over here on the right side of the sheet, there's a pile of 3 red guards and guarding a yellow guards rather, guarding a red stone that's might be biting. It's an open question as to whether it's biting or not. I think it is, but I'm not sure. But the red stone that is shot is completely exposed, which is why Nutmeg is probably wanting to guard it back up. And we have a score update from sheet C in the 4th end. Travis Hamilton made a tough angle / takeout to take his 2 in the 5th to go up 5-3. And over on sheet D, the front end for the Powhatahamu team managed to get a stone in the 4-foot on the front end that was double buried behind some good backing. Burkett kept trying to take it out, but he was not able to get it with any of his various takes. And Powhatahamu stole 1 in the 4th end to go up 3-1 halfway through that game over there on sheet D. Sheet A is still working their way through the 5th end, just as we are here on sheet B. Past the guard, he got past the guard, he gets the hit. Is he gonna overroll? That yellow stone is now shot.
Yeah, because of that pile of guards, the only way to really overroll it was out of the house.
Well, I was concerned it wasn't gonna roll out of the house, honestly, because it was looking like it might have had to spin to get there. It is now the shot stone. It's in the back 12, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just say it's inaccessible.
Yeah, there's no way I can think of it.
I can think of a couple things I might try, but I wouldn't expect success. And I don't think either team is that dumb. I think both teams are going to be like, okay, that stone's just going to be there. So Nutmeg, Vice, Mark Zakin with his second Vice stone being asked to kind of establish something going on the other side of the house. Something went horribly wrong with that stone. I'm not sure what, because they're looking at it disgustingly. I don't know if it just didn't behave the way they wanted it to, or if it was outside the line or what. It's right on the tee, exposed on the 4-foot. I think they were expecting it to cut, and I think it was outside the line, and it just never came back.
Yeah, at one point it looked like maybe it was going the other way, like it picked, but obviously it was coming back in at the end, so it didn't do that. So
I don't know. But I mean, from the way they were looking at that stone all the way down the ice, they were not happy with it. Especially since it is completely exposed. So Chris Lee's looking disgusted with himself. I think I know why. Yeah, he pushed that on the release. Unless it catches something and comes back, which it might. Well, just enough to tap it in.
Some contact, but not enough to take out the red, but also not enough to push it under the guard. So a little bit of no harm, no foul, but a waste of a rock.
Yeah, waste of a rock. And now the red team, Team Nutmeg, top 4, Andy Eaton could, in fact, put a guard up in front of that with his first stone at the end and put himself in a position to possibly steal. And the way this game has been going, honestly, a steal could be a winning move. Yeah, that would be huge. I don't see the Vice putting the broom down. He's getting his gripper. Okay.
Yeah, the red team, arguably making a mistake, leaving that rock exposed, and the yellow team not able to capitalize on the mistake.
Yeah. So yellow does have the hammer here in this 5th end, but at the moment, it's not like there's a nice clean draw line. So, and particularly not once the guard that I'm almost certain is the call here is thrown. Less ice, really? They're not trusting this guard to curl much at all. Unless he's
drawing. Is it a guard or is he making a raise maybe?
Thinking what?
Is he making a raise maybe?
Why would he raise it? It's behind the tee.
No, the raise of one of these 2 guards that's biting the top of the house.
interesting idea. I don't think so. Maybe he's drawing behind those?
No, he's definitely wide for a raise, so this could be just a draw behind.
Or he wanted to freeze to it or something. I'm not sure what his plan was with that. Oh, his plan with that was to gently tap it to actually be behind the guards.
In which case, mission accomplished.
And just as a side bonus, the shooter, because he threw that so gently, is actually sitting as the second stone. Now, it's completely exposed, don't get me wrong, out there in the straddling between the 8 and the 12 foot over to the left-hand side of the sheet, about 2 feet behind the tee line. But that shot stone, pretty well buried.
Yeah, both of these rocks are in a position where yellow only has really 2 options. One, pretty easy, but not the one you like the most, to just draw in, sit one,
right,
and go from there. The other option is if you hit that outside one that's exposed, you might be able to roll over and get on top and be shot. And so you have one, and you've expanded your scoring zone a little bit.
And that kind of looks like what they're looking for based on the broom. Based on the broom, Bob Williams is apparently, unless he's just drawing, he's either looking to hit that outside red and do the roll like you were just discussing, or it's a draw in. I guess we won't really know for sure until we actually see the weight that he's throwing.
Yeah, they're both okay. Ultimately, they both sort of get you the same result, because if you get the draw, it doesn't matter that red is straddling the border of the
True statement. And this is yellow's first. This is Bob's first stone of the end. He does have hammer this end. That is a draw weight stone. So he's just trying to draw to it. He's just looking to draw to the button, basically. He's looking for a lot of bend. I don't know that he's going to get that much bend. Well,
my first thought was that it was over curling. He wasn't going to get around these guards.
He's plenty past the guards.
Oh, the far camera has frozen.
But he didn't quite have the length to draw in. He's short. He's exposed. He's short.
Yeah, he's definitely second shot.
He needed that to go about another foot to be perfect. And it is exposed 3/4 or more even. So Andy Eaton could pretty much do whatever he wanted to with it, really. About the only thing he doesn't want to do is drive it straight back. 'Cause if he drove it straight back, it would probably chip out his red. That's the current shot.
Right.
But anything that's not a nose hit probably skitters through.
Even just a guard might even be the good play here. If you're already sitting
For
one,
the steal, sure.
just lock in that one.
And based on that weight, that almost strikes me as what he's got in mind. Because that is not hit weight. That is gentle guard weight. Maybe a freeze, but nothing more than that. But I think it may have over-curled. Oh, yeah, that stone over-curled. So all that stone does is, well, really nothing. So with the hammer, Bob Williams probably trying to tap his stone up or drop past it, whichever. He'd be happy either way. Realistically, the tap is more likely.
I'm seeing it almost as there. I don't know. I mean, it's there. The split, almost where you try to roll both onto the house, except he wants to maybe roll these both onto the 4-foot. If he can do that and get a 2 still.
That would be, just looking at the angles of the stones in front, it'd be a hell of a shot for him to do. I bet you he's playing for the tap for the 1, and if he gets lucky with the roll and gets the 2, he won't complain. In my opinion, this is light. I don't feel like this is getting there. He's got both sweepers on it pretty hard. They're really hard on it. It's diving now, past the top guard.
Not past the second guard.
Not past the second guard. Got to tap up. So red steals 1. Nutmeg steals 1 after 5. They're up 5-3. And like we were saying earlier, that could be a that's a major turning point in this game. That's the first steal. I mean, yellow can right the ship with a 2 and make it a tie game going home, and they have the hammer in the even ends. So the game is by no means over, but that's, given the way this game has been going, that steal could be big, could loom large in about 45 minutes when we're in the end game. They finished the 5th end over in Sheet A. Paul Schultz took his 1. That game is tied at 2 after 5. That game's being played like it's a playdowns level game, because there's lots of nothing but 1s, 1-2, and a couple blanks. That game's being played professionally, basically.
Yeah, that's even better than playdowns. I mean, you see games like that at the Briar.
Yeah. I'll tell you where you don't see them. Monday Men's League. You know, this is the kind of game. That's the kind of game over there that's going to be tight. It's going to come down to who's got the hammer in the 8th. And at the moment, that would probably be yellow, but we don't know that for sure yet. So meanwhile, here in our 6th end, after Nutmeg put their first stone straddling the center line in the top 8, the Royals, they were looking for a corner guard. It slid a little deep. Instead, it's kind of half in the 12 over there on the corner. I don't think they really mind that, per se. I think they would have been happier with a guard.
I think both teams are fine. They want the guard to use the free guard zone where it's not allowed to be taken out. But red doesn't have any designs on taking that out where it's currently sitting. It's not bothering them at all with their plan of trying to take over the center.
And red is trying to guard their stone that they just threw into the top 8.
This feels like it has a lot for guard. Maybe even more than the first one had.
No, it's decelerating nicely. It's not coming over enough, but the finished dive might. It's got about 75% guarded on the right.
Yep, and that's why you don't try to call weight from the back of the house.
Yeah.
Or from a camera.
Or from a camera, yeah. Or in our case, 20 feet behind the house with a sheet of glass between us. Williams lead Chris Brajas, throwing his 2nd stone. He's looking to take out that stone that's up there on the top 4. They're working it hard to make sure it gets past the guard. It did not get past the guard, but it was not a free guard zone violation. It was just a tick. It was just an executed tick shot. I'm not sure if they really want that, but they might have deliberately gone it for a tick.
If I had to guess, I would say it was one of those where they were okay with the tick. They were just trying to get around it, and if it moved it, then so be it, because that is a good result.
Yeah.
That guard a little bit higher, covering about half of the stone of the house.
Yeah. I believe over on sheet C, yes, they just finished the 6th end over on sheet C. We'll get the score here in just a second. Our off-sheet reporter is gathering that right now. I like the way that makes it sound so professional. Our off-sheet. And again with the tick. Almost an exact carbon copy of what happened a minute ago. With the notable exception of they actually ticked that stone further. The practical upshot between those 2 tick shots is that yellow stone that's up in the top 12 over on the right-hand side of the sheet is pretty well protected from extraction at the moment. It's not shot, so at the moment it's not terribly relevant. But that could be important later. Nutmeg looking to throw up another guard. And judging by the looks, it's going to be in the neighborhood. Good, solid.
Out to put the finish on it himself. Covers at least half of it again.
Yeah, I'd say he's got it.
Definitely no worse than the last one was.
No, I'd say it's about 85. And
I would say it's actually better because it's deeper.
yeah, and it looks like we have another peel going on.
Yes. Well, now that we've gotten past the 4 rock rule, now we're just going to go ahead and just go after this guard. We don't have to try to squeeze around.
Yeah,
it.
the last one was too, actually. But coming at it pretty hard. Looks like they got the one, and the shooter spins out. Okay, so that's just a straight, clean peel. Nothing ticky about it, just a straight, clean peel.
Right here, Mark.
Yeah, if you're Nutmeg, what do? It looks like you just keep
The
putting it
guard back. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're sitting shot. You're ahead by 2 at the moment. You don't have hammer. You've got a stone sitting on the center line in the top 8. Yeah, you keep covering it. I'm a little concerned this stone is not coming back, and although they're sweeping the heck out of it, it's not coming back. I don't think it's going to get there. No, it's
over
only
the hog, but it's not going to guard.
Yeah, it's not guarding. It's not guarding anything. So that's the guard. That's why you play guard peel, guard peel, guard peel. Eventually, you're hoping to get
someone's going to
a
make
guard.
a mistake. Either they're going to miss a peel and you get to try to draw for more points,
Exactly.
or they're going to miss the guard after you peel and give you a clean shot at shot stone.
Yep, and that's exactly how this has gone. It's
With a lot of cover across the house from it. So
Yeah. This
good
is
roll
yeah.
is going to have yellow sitting 2 here.
Yeah, this set up very nicely for Bob Williams. If he can execute the hit, and I don't know. I think this stone's over curling. I don't know if it's past the guard.
It's really
It is
close.
just barely, and it's going to get that, and it's going to Remember those tick shots that he played earlier? At the moment, he's guarding his shot stone and his second shot stone. So that's what happens when you play this game perfectly.
Yeah, on the camera angle, there might be a port to those, but it's so far
not-
off the center.
Yeah, it's not a port I would really be willing to go for.
Yeah, it's.
Unless I absolutely had to.
I
And
mean, I'm
to a degree, I
left-handed. It's on my side of the ice. If my skip told me to go after it, I would. But I would. Ask
I
him if
wouldn't
he was
enjoy
sure.
it.
I would ask
Yeah.
him if he was sure.
Yeah. I'd go for it, but only because since I curl with a stick, I can throw a straight shot.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you come with good weight, it's not going to be hard to get to that point.
well, he called for hack. In my opinion, the throw was made at way more than hack. And he's got the sweepers on it for line, I assume. Past the guard. Yes, he's got the hit. Slight roll to the inside. Beautifully executed shot there by Team Nutmeg Vice, Mark Zakin. All right, we got some off-sheet updates. Sheet C in the 6th end. Bilala tried to draw, but unfortunately came up short, gave up a steal of 2. That puts Hamilton up 7-3. Over on sheet D in the 5th end, Melvin was trying to wrecked on a guard with his last, which gave TJ Burkett an opportunity to be drawing for 3, but TJ missed the draw, so he only took 2. That game after 5 is tied up at 3. And over on sheet A, Schultz was able to draw to the top 4 to take his 1 to tie that game up at 2. So all of these games are very nip and tuck, this draw. So we got a lot of exciting action here as we're coming down to the final ends of all of these games. So that's good. It's always good to have some exciting games.
Yeah, Yellow's last rock in this game looked like they were trying the same thing, the hit through the port there. and I'm not sure how, but it didn't hit anything and just went straight through. They
I
managed to get through both of those ports, I think.
didn't realize that was physically possible. Sorry I missed that.
I didn't have exactly the angle to see because there were people standing around the stone when it went through, but nothing moved. So either it was a burn and they were just kicking it out of the way or something, but I didn't see any indication of that.
Right.
It looked like it was just somehow a missed shot.
Okay, so nutmeg skip Andy Eaton throwing his first stone, sitting with one very well guarded shot stone. So he's just looking to draw behind the center guard at this point to put a second one in. It's cutting a little bit. I think he's going to tap his top one unless he gets... No, actually, he's going to get past it. Never mind. Angles are a little distracting to me, and it's coming very close. It's a well-buried stone up in the top 12, just nibbling top 8, pretty much fully behind cover. That was a pretty good shot there, frankly. And I don't know if you saw it, but as the skip was, or as the vice was coming down, he was kind of the vice was kind of a shot. So they're happy with the way with their standing right now. You can blame them, really. I mean, it's they're looking at possibly being in a situation where they're going to end up forcing Williams to just draw for one at the end of this, which would be how you consolidate what you do after you get a steal.
Yeah, that's definitely not the spot that Williams wants to be in here.
No, Williams really wanted to get two to get back in this, to get this thing back to tied. At the moment, unless he makes an absolute stone cold perfect draw here, I don't see how that's going to happen. And that draw is exactly what he's trying to do. So right now what he needs to do is he needs to get this stone to full 8 or touching 4, and it needs to get behind cover and be there. Both of his sweepers are on it pretty hard. It's past the top guard, probably past the second guard. It's coming over. I don't think it got over enough to be buried. No, it didn't at all get over enough to be buried. It's on the back of the button. It's a quarter buried, but it's behind all of the other stones. So all that has to happen is for Andy Eaton
there's no
to make contact.
There's no catch.
Yeah, there's no jam.
He doesn't have to hit much of it if
right.
He can hit a quarter of the stone.
Yeah, and Eaton doesn't even care if he hits and rolls out.
Right.
Actually, he would rather hit and roll out.
Right. He definitely doesn't want to leave a backer there.
Yeah. He would either hit and roll
He
out,
wants
or
to
he would
make that draw to the button again.
Yeah. Because the draw for the button for 1 against 2, possibly against 3 if he rolls over. He wouldn't mind the shooter ending up over in the 12-foot or something to just add a little bit more pressure. But stone's on the way. I kind of would have expected him to have thrown it harder, but then again, I overthrow a lot of things. Sweepers just came off of it. Stone needs to get back to the center line to get the contact. It's getting close. It's developing nicely. I think he's got it. He does have it, but what he doesn't have is that stone didn't get far enough. A nose hit would be shot. So Bob Williams does have his escape to make sure he gets the one. He doesn't have to draw. He could just draw to the backing because it's INT line. So, or if he feels better with doing a hit, straight nose hit's also 1. That looks to me like he's kind of throwing kind of an in-between shot. Kind of a draw in with a heavy draw just in case. All he needs to do is make gentle contact with that stone, roll a little bit to the inside, he'll be fine. But Williams has got to kind of be kicking himself going, I needed more than this. Stone's on its way. Seems like it has a lot of revolutions. Sweepers are both on it hard. I'm not sure this has the distance. They're sweeping it hard. It's gliding a lot better than I thought it was going to be gliding. They need to get it into the forefoot and have it stay in the forefoot. Oh, yeah, never mind. That's covering the button. That's a perfect draw for one. So Bob Williams gets his draw to take this one. He can't really be happy with that result, but he's got the result, and as a result, it is now 5-4 in favor of the top 4 team from Nutmeg over the Rochester Royals from, strangely enough, Rochester. As we get ready to curl in the pivotal 7th end. Pivotal.
I feel like a 2.5 is a little better than a 3. Right about there.
Williams lead. Chris Barajas being asked to throw up a 3 center guard. Standard playbook entry.
Maybe like a corner guard or maybe a draw. It's over curling for the center line. Actually, not a lot. No,
it's perfect on the center line.
Look at that. Okay. I'm just going to stop trying to guess where these stones are going because on the cameras, I obviously can't tell.
Second stone, or first lead stone for the second shooter, who is Jeff Hannon from Nutmeg, is on its way. He was being asked to come into the house, draw behind that cover, and that's pretty much exactly what he's done. Almost exactly.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot.
Oh, is it on the button? Why, yes. Yes, it is. Why did I even ask? Why did I even ask? I should have just known.
And if you're the Hammer team already with a lead, just drawing behind the other team's center guard, it's a pretty good strategy.
Oh, yeah.
You only need to score 1 if you score at all this end. So
yeah,
that's a perfectly good way to try to ensure that you're going to score this end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get a rock on the button undercover.
Absolutely. All right, Nutmeg's second stone of the end. Again, he was kind of looking to come in behind the other freshly delivered guard. And it looks promising, frankly. Maybe a little heavy. Hangs around in the back 12, mostly behind cover. That's a nice little...
Yeah,
nice
just a little heavier than he wanted. The line actually came back pretty nice. It looked like it might have been wide at first, but it definitely came back under the guard.
All right, we got a couple of off-sheets update. On sheet C, in the 7th end, in the 7th end, Rick Bilala made an intern draw for, we believe it was 3 points, which would make that 7-6 coming home in the 8th end. And over there on A, there was in the 6th end, there was some good back and forth, and finally Schultz ended up managing to steal one as the result of a couple of very good draws, which puts him up in that game 3-2 after 6, working their way through the 7th. The game on sheet C is going kind of crazy fast by comparison. it looks like we're being asked to draw behind cover again by, only now it's Brian Walker being asked to do so.
This is coming in pretty nice.
If it comes over far enough, that's open. Well, is it, or am I at a funny angle?
I mean, it's definitely at least partially open.
Yeah.
Maybe about a third to half of the stone open. But it's the outside third or half. So that
Yeah.
you could maybe make a double with that, but I don't know that you could come across and hit the inside of it.
Right. I agree.
They're definitely going after it, which seems fine.
Good. Stay close. Yep. Yep. Up.
A little narrow, I think.
He's got the top one. He's going to catch the. Yeah, he's got the. That's a very nicely executed double. Shooter rolls out to be second shot, still in play. There's still a red stone in the back 12 that's currently shot, and it's still behind the arrow of yellow guards. Yeah, it looks like all Nutmeg is doing is going back into that, trying to draw in back behind that again. Can't say I blame him, really. And with all of the late finish on that stone, it basically just kisses up that one in the back. It's not hard frozen, but it's hard enough frozen. Both of those stones aren't coming out on one shot because you can't get there with enough weight to move both of those stones. I mean, I suppose technically you could, but it would involve, I'm not sure what it would involve, but it wouldn't be pretty. Royals Vice Chris Lee's first stone on the way. He's basically being asked to draw behind and get on those two reds sitting in there. And didn't quite get there. Looks like he kind of popped it out. So I'm not sure he got the result he was looking for. Just one more.
Yeah, he does sit shot after that, but there's nothing behind the yellow stone preventing it from being moved out of the house.
Gene, one more. There you go. That's all.
It's mostly under the guards, but not completely, and there's nothing holding it in. There's no catcher there. So.
Yeah. It did make enough contact to knock the back of the two reds out. So Nutmeg, Vice, Mark Zakin's first stone, basically being asked to sit on that yellow or sit with a tap. Except I don't think he's going to get there. I think it's going to be a draw. Over there on sheet D, Melvin Shaw with the hammer in the sixth end was attempting to draw, but instead came up light, gave up one. So after 6, that score is 4-3 in favor of the broom shooter team from Columbus. Now all of our games are in the pivotal 7th end. None of them have gotten out of hand yet by any stretch of the imagination. Actually, are any of them more than a 1-point game?
Well, I
No.
was going to say that C was out of hand being 7-3, but then
the 3 that they scored the 7th, yeah.
7-6.
So all of our games are 1-point games as we're in either the 7th or 8th ends, depending. The game on C is in the 8th. So Rochester here does have the hammer in the 7th end. No, I'm sorry, Rochester does not have the hammer in the 7th. Nutmeg has the hammer. Rochester is down 1, currently sitting with 2, and they would like, actually in this situation, if you're down 1, would you rather steal the 1 to be tied going home without the hammer, or give up the 1 so that you're down 2 with the hammer.
I don't know. Personally, I'd rather steal the 1. I think if you steal 1, you've got a good chance of stealing the 1 again to win in the 8th. We have seen hammer teams doing fairly well, though, so far this game, converting their deuce.
Yeah, well,
so
not really.
Well, actually, 3 out of 6.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's in this game, the way this game is going, it's a very open question. That's for sure. I mean, obviously, I think if I was yellow and I had the opportunity to steal 2, that would be beautiful.
Yeah, that was a really nice little wick and roll to the button. Of course, to the button.
Of course, to the button.
For
By
red
nutmeg. As we're getting ready to start some skip stones here in the 7th
really
end.
Fantastic rock placement there.
Yeah, because again, there's that arrow of yellow stones guarding basically the whole 4-foot. I mean, realistically, the entire 4-foot is guarded.
Which, yellow not having the hammer and needing to score, that was the right plan. Cover the middle of the sheet.
Yeah.
Except red was the one able to get under the guards first.
Right. Now I think there's enough there that you could do a raise hit on that red, I'm sorry. But that's not what they're doing. They're guarding. They're drawing around to it rather. Bob Williams playing for a big wide guard. Yellow. Did he deliberately put that there so he could use that on the next stone?
It's possible. I don't.
Seems unlikely, though.
I think it's more like that was a passable result for what he was trying to do. He was trying to come down to the red, but he did not want to be wide or overthrow it. So he was okay with leaving it there. It sort of prevents red from being able to get another one in there.
True.
And then it doesn't give him the run back, sort of the angle raise to maybe sit 2.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, and right now, yellow, I mean, yellow would love to steal like we were discussing. Wouldn't be a bad plan if he could make it go. But one thing he does not want to do is he doesn't want to let red take 2. Red 2 would make this game in big trouble because 3 points, there hasn't been a 3 this game. There hasn't even been that many 2s.
Yeah,
so,
we've had 3 2s and 3 1s through 6.
Yeah. A 3
so,
is...
so a 2 red now makes it a 3-point game.
And yeah, that's
yeah.
maybe not all she wrote, but the fat lady would in fact be warming up in the wings.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're coming home in the 8th. You've got the hammer, but you're down 3. You really have to protect every stone. And the other team is going to play just super conservative, just hit everything.
Yeah, exactly. Take everything out, run their first stones through the house,
yeah.
play guard ticks, the whole. And we've shown that they know how to do that.
Yeah,
that's how they got to this situation.
Yeah, they're not going to leave you any place to hide rocks to get a 3.
Yeah. So, but first, let's see how this end ends. As Nutmeg skip Andy Eaton throws his first skip stone. I think he's actually just trying to throw up a guard because he kind of likes the situation. The steal of 1, the steal of 1 suits him just fine. Actually, it wouldn't be steal; it'd be taking the 1 with the hammer. Suits him just fine. Taking 2 would be better, but
yeah. So it does take away that angle raise. The yellow onto the red to sit 2 or 3 yellow.
So if I'm yellow,
and these centerline guards, from my view, there's just, I don't know that there's necessarily overlap, but they're almost edge to edge.
So
certainly, to run one back, there's a chance that they just
certainly the 2 of the 3, the 2 that are on the right-hand side are well overlapped. No question there. From my point of view, the one on the left, there is actually an open path for a straight drive back, and actually I think that's what's being looked at right now. a straight drive back actually would hit that would hit that red stone, and the yellow could be laying 4. But now that's not what he's doing. That would be risky. That'd be a hell of a risk. But if he pulled it off, wow, would he look good. But he's not doing that. He's drawn from the other side, basically saying, okay, I'll come home down 2 without hammer, because I'm pretty sure that this stone, or come down 2 with hammer rather, I'm pretty sure that this stone is really just keeping it to 1.
Now he's going to take another look at it. I guess he got to the near hog line and saw it from a different angle and wants to take another look. Or
okay, This is the moment when I wish I had the mic, I could hear the mics. Fortunately, these skips made the choice, and they have the choice. It's a free will choice. These skips made the choice not to wear the microphones, so we can't hear their discussion. We're just going off of brooms and hand actions.
They might be looking at that run back now, or they might be looking at the double run back, the angle raise that we had before, but using the red guard that just went up.
Yeah, they're looking at that as a possibility. And I mean, this is very definitely a heavy risk reward situation, because yellow's got a potential for a big number here if they can figure out how to pick that red out. Well, they've made their decision. Based on that broom, I'm not actually sure what they're doing. I'll be completely honest. Based on that broom, I do not know what the shot is.
I think it's that red onto the broom, onto the yellow, back onto the red. And he's just taking almost no ice here. He's going to throw this probably close to as hard as he can.
Okay.
Unless there's just something else in play here.
Unless he wants to curl the 1.5 for the straight raise on that other yellow. Now this is definitely about as hard as he can. He's planning on this being a laser. This comes out of the hack. Doesn't have any sweepers on it at the moment. Everything looks like it's up. Got a sweeper on it now. He's got contact with the first red for sure. Chips. Oh, not enough. Not enough. All that just kind of just cushioned that red a little bit. Not cushioned, pushed it over a little bit. So red is currently definitely sitting 1. Question is, can he draw? Basically needs to find a way to touch the 4-foot to get a second.
That explains why he was playing it so hard too. He was playing the red directly onto the red. He wasn't trying to run a yellow in. He was just trying to pick the red out.
Yeah.
And because he was running a red in, he couldn't afford to let it stick in there and either give them an extra point or not take one away.
Hey, I'm not sure that's what I would have done, but I'm not the guy out there on the ice.
I think that had a better chance than the red onto the yellow. That was.
See, I still think I would have
go both angles.
I still think I would have considered taking the yellow straight back.
The long straight one I think was a better play.
But
if you're a little light, you at least just run the yellow in. And you sit one or.
And he's nowhere yet. He's no worse than he is now.
Right.
And now we have a meeting of the minds as they attempt to figure out what to do.
Can they get a 2?
Can they get a 2 out of this, which would be a game killer.
If they do what's basically a button draw or a 4-foot draw around the right-hand side.
Yeah, the line's there.
They'll either just clean draw around that red that's top 12, or even if they rub that, they could push that to be second shot.
Yeah, the line is there. And meanwhile, over here on sheet C, we're getting ready for the last shot of the 8th end. The situation right now, the Chesapeake Bayhoppers are down by 1, but Rick Bukala is certainly sitting 1, and he possibly has another biter for 2. Team Hamilton skips. Travis Hamilton is throwing his last stone in an attempt, it looks like, to raise his red up to either take 1 or at least cut them down to 1 to go to an extra end. He's got his sweepers on it very, very hard. He's got the contact now. Was it too hard? It was, yes, it was too hard. So Rick's got one. Now the question
raise,
is.
And that's going to be 2 red here on.
That is 2 red on the raise. They are not shaking over on C, so my assumption is it was 1 yellow, and they're throwing an extra end. I don't know that for sure. They're discussing, yeah, they're discussing the extra end. So it was very obviously 1 yellow. So sheet C is going to the 9th, is going to a 9th end. On the plus side, the speed they're curling at.
Yeah, they'll play 9 in the rate of everyone else playing 8, so
yeah.
It's fine. They're not going to hold up any games.
Okay, over on A in the 7th end, Schultz managed to split the house, force Robinson to take 1. That game is tied up at 3 coming home, but single barrel, Paul Schultz, Brian Stewart, Len Yeager, and Daphne Roberts have the hammer in the 8th end, and the way that game's been going, that's a good sign. Because has there been I don't think there's been a single steal over there. Yeah,
you
possibly.
Talked about this.
Over sheet A.
The team with the big lead just throwing rocks through the house to start the end.
Yeah.
They don't want to leave any guards up to let yellow hide behind. They don't want to leave anything in the house to let them freeze onto.
Exactly. So it's textbook how to play with a lead of 3 strategy. Don't leave the other team anything to work with, and the Rochester Royals, Bob Williams, will be putting up guard after guard after guard after guard to hope that they miss something. He has something to hide behind so that he can make his 3. This corner guard strikes me as being a little too cornery.
Yeah, that's really wide. That's,
yeah.
Wow,
That's not just a corner guard. That's a corner over on the next street.
I mean, it's a rocking play. They can use it. It's definitely better than not a rocking play.
Yeah, I mean, remember 2 ends ago, it was Stones over there that let the red team set up their steal. So.
I'm not going to track this all the way down. It's through the house. Just take a little breather here, switch this around.
So we got 4 sheets in action. 2 of the games are tied in the last end. Sheet A is tied going into the 8th. Sheet C is already in an extra end in the 9th tied. The D game is still wrapping up the 7th end. It's nip and tuck. And our feature game here on sheet B has been a nip and tuck affair all the way through, but did they get that over? Yes, they did. So he has his 2 guards.
So that's got pretty good line for a corner guard.
Yeah.
Maybe just a little too high to really protect anything in the house, but now that we've thrown 4 rocks, it doesn't matter. Red's just going to peel it.
That's true. We do no longer have free guard zone, do we? Yes. Okay. I'm sitting here going, is he? This might be a miss. It looks like he kind of shoved it on the release. It's diving.
Yes.
Is he getting there?
Oh, that's right. I was like, what are you talking about? He hasn't thrown the rock. It was another just camera stick on mine.
And nope, it has enough. It took it out. Okay, so it's peel.
Take a look. It's all here.
Let's put the guard back up. This is in a pretty nice spot.
That's nicer. That's deeper.
Unfortunately, that's not where their first one ended up, and so now we're in the phase of the end where it doesn't really matter where they go. They're going to just get thrown at.
Yeah. But since it's out of the outer edge of the sheet, it increases the angle, which increases the possibility of an error. Like, for example,
This
I think this is a miss.
Good flash.
Yep, it's a flash. So that was the mistake that that was needed. So now the question is, he's got 5 stones left. Can he get 3 of them in the house to score? So what happened in sheet D over in the 7th? Melvin managed to play a pair of excellent draws, generates the stereotypical skips juice, which, if I am not mistaken, puts him up by 1 in that game, 5-4. Yes, that is correct. Up 5-4 in that game. So that's the only game. Well, that's not true. Okay, so that game. Yellow trying to draw behind one of his guards. I don't know. That feels heavy from Spencer Stevens with his last stone of this 8th end. Yeah, that is heavy. That's through the house. They really could not afford that. That was probably a critical error, because that basically gives Andy Eaton a free shot at the guard hit again.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they need to score 3 out of 5 rocks. And when you got the other team trying to remove your rocks from play, you can't really afford to take one out for them.
Right. And this looks like this is much more on the line. And it's out, and it does in fact roll out of play, and yep. So yellow now has 4 more stones to throw, only 1 guard. They have to generate 3. It's starting to look pretty rough for them. It's not a given that the game's over, but it's looking rough. They can throw 1 more attempt at a guard. Nope, he's actually choosing to go ahead and start up with the, let's bring it in the house behind the 1 guard that we've got. Nope, changed his mind, throwing the guard, taking his last chance to throw a guard up. And basically at this point, he's got to hope that red misses 3 hits in a row. That's all he's got.
You wonder, now that it doesn't really matter whether it's a guard or not, if you just start playing to the edges of the house, just trying to hope the angles force a miss, kind of like they did on that first peel.
Yeah, I'm not sure this stone gets past the hog.
I think they've got it over the hog, but that's about all they've got.
Yeah. See, I think I would have felt better at least putting that in the deep 3 to where maybe a tick on was an option later if I needed it.
Or I mean, you just draw a T-line off in the wings where it's a really wide takeout.
And this looks like an attempted appeal, and it's going to be a successful appeal. Team Nutmeg evidently spent a goodly amount of time working on their peel shot, because they've gotten 4 out of 5 this end. And when you've hit 4 out of 5 peels, the other team's down to three stones. They need 3 points. It's obvious what's going on here. This stone has to get in the house, and it has to be behind cover. Nothing else will do. So Chris Lee throwing his last stone of the 8th end. He's being asked to put it behind the guard. I don't know why the sweepers aren't on this. I am seeing a little bit of an angle, so maybe I'm confused by the angle. Okay, angle issues. Okay, never mind. Stone was just fine.
I mean, that's a good spot.
They've done what they can do.
I mean, it's for that particular situation, that was about the best shot they could have thrown.
They've done what they can do. So Andy Eaton with his first, Andy Eaton with his first stone is looking to either peel the guard or get the hit. The hit would not mathematically end the game, but it would basically end the game.
The double would mathematically end the game.
The double would mathematically end the game. And basically, Bob Williams is sitting at. He's got to hope for misses. That's all he's got. He needs Andy Eaton to miss his 2 remaining shots.
They got one of those misses they needed earlier, but they were not able to capitalize with the draw after the peel.
Because they threw through, unfortunately. Stone is on its way. Sweepers are on it hard. The double would, in fact, end the game. I don't think it's gonna. Oh, it might, actually. Nope. And actually, that red remained in play.
Just a peel, and the red stays in play. That's a nice new guard now for
Yeah,
Yellow to draw behind.
so that's an opportunity for Andy to put it deep behind and tell Andy, props for Bob Williams to put it deep behind and tell Andy Eaton, okay, you got to make the run back or else you're giving me the draw for 3.
Well, Andy can then just peel that one off that's on the fringe. It's not under the guard anymore.
If he can get it. It's out of the outer edge of the sheet. It's not easy.
It's not easy, no, but it's probably easier than the run back would be.
Yeah, true.
It depends on how deep they're able to draw behind the guard.
True. But at this point, unless this stone is in the house or I guess close enough to be able to tick in, the game is over because Bob Williams is basically he's dormy. He's 3 down. He's 3 down with 3 to play. Stone is on its way. Sweepers are on it pretty hard. I think they need to be. I'm not sure this is past the guard. Of course, I said that on the last one, and it got there just fine. I'm not hearing this. I'm not hearing the Vice screaming his lungs out, so I think it is in fact past. Yes, it is, but it's not buried at all. Why are they calling for the outs? Really? He's going to hit the outside one?
That doesn't seem.
That is a
Doesn't
very
seem like
odd
the correct
choice.
call at all when
That is a very odd
they're
choice.
both pretty open. I would go for the one
For
that's
some
sort of in the
reason,
middle,
Andy
but-
Eaton choosing to go for the stone on the outside of the sheet as opposed to an open stone on the inside. He's got the sweepers on it immediately. That's never a good sign. The Vice is screaming hard. The sweepers missed it for a second. I think he's got it. Yes,
He's
he
got
does.
some
That's game.
contact here.
That's game.
That's going to do it.
Okay, that makes it official that the top 4 team from Nutmeg, Andy Eaton, Mart Zakin, Brian Walker, and Jeff Hannon, will move on to the semifinals of the Quanzon event, which will be at 10:15 this evening against whoever wins on Sheet C. And the Rochester Royals, Bob Williams, Chris Lee, Spencer Stevens, Chris Barajas, and Chris Janiak, their tournament is done. So that's where that goes. So now we're going to move to where? Pick a game, any game. They're all good. Pick one. Let's go to the one that's in an extra end over here on C.
All right, C, we got it. Turning the cameras.
So we're going to the game on Sheet C, which
Yes,
is...
if you're watching this, you just saw them go to A. They use A as their reference point. Now they're going to C.
Right.
There they go.
So Broom Shooter 2 from Columbus, TJ Burkett is the skip against, I'm sorry, wrong game. Team Hamilton from CCVA is shooting the red stones. And the Chesapeake Bayhoppers, Rick Bulala is the skip, is shooting the yellow stones. Current situation, we are in the 9th end. We are in Skip's stones. The Bayhoppers have the hammer. At the moment, Hamilton has a stone in the back 12. We are getting ready to throw the... I'm sorry, Hamilton has the hammer. I'm sorry, my bad. Team Hamilton has the hammer in red, and they're currently sitting shot. Rick Bulala, the Chesapeake Bayhoppers, is getting ready to throw his final stone of the end. Looks like he's calling it to draw behind the cover in an attempt to make Travis have to throw his stone. The stone's on its way. Sweepers are on it hard. That would be front end, probably Dana and Amanda Weisberger. Craig Weisberger is in the house acting as the vice. He actually threw second stones. Rick put that up fairly nicely. He's currently shot in the back of the forefoot. It does look to be exposed, however, probably about half exposed on the outside. So Travis Hamilton is going to just have to get some rock on that to win the game. Mary Malaj is his vice, holding the broom. Looks like she's calling him to curl about 4 feet. Actually, it looks like he's not going for the hit. He's going for a draw. And the front end is going to be Jim Yeager and Sam Sparks. They'll be handling the brushing on this. Stone's on its way. It is. Weight feels about right, and the bend feels about right. If it's got the distance, Sweeper's got off of it, so they must be confident.
Well, I think they also needed it to bend at the backing.
And it's got it. Travis Hamilton draws to the back forefoot perfectly in order to take that game in an extra end. So they will move on to face the Nutmeg team in the 10-15 draw. So the Chesapeake Bay Hoppers are finished. We're getting ready to throw the last couple stones over here on A. Let's cut over to A. Cutting over to A. This would be the game between Team Robinson. It's the Pittsburgh Death Match. Team Robinson in yellow. Mark Robinson's the skip. Nicholas Visnich is the vice. Eric Clausen is the second. Harley Rohrbacher is the lead against Single Barrel, also from Pittsburgh. In the Redstones, Paul Schultz, Brian Stewart, Len Yeager, Daphne Roberts was the lead. Situation in this game, after 7, it is tied at 3. There have been 2 blanks, a bunch of 1s. There was 1 and only 1-2 scored. So we're tied up at 3. We are now getting ready to throw what will be Team Robinson's final stone of the game. And as you can see from the overhead, they got problems. There are 2 red stones.
Nobody can see on the overhead. But
there are 2 red stones on the button.
There's your overhead.
He's got a yellow. He's got a couple yellows he could work with. And they have actually been working on this shot for about 3 minutes. And I can't blame them. Mark Robinson, who's a fairly good curler. I mean, he's curled at the club playdowns level. He's curled for several years. He knows his stuff. So, but his skip is going, yeah, I'm not feeling lucky here. Because the problem is he doesn't have a nice straight promote on his yellow, because you may or may not be able to see it on the camera. You can. There's a guard way up just past the center line. And there's another red guard just on the other side of the center line. So all of the nice straight promotes are out of the question. There's nothing good here. Looks like basically what they're calling for is the in-off this Yellowstone. They're going to have to kick it and kick over to the left hard enough to drive one of those 2 red stones out and sit shot at the end of it. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, it's as good as what I could come up with. If we had maybe livelier stones, I would say you can take this red that's on the center line, drive it very hard straight back, and make the sort of run back triple. But
he's committed now. Eric Clausen's got the broom on at something fierce. He missed everything. Nope, unfortunately that was a miss. Single barrel advances. Paul Schultz takes that with a score of 2 to win that final 5-3 over Team Robinson. So, hey, let's go to Sheet D, seeing as how they're still left. We've actually got several stones left going on in this game. It is the Broom Shooter 2 team from Columbus in red. TJ Burkett, Eric Johnson, Andrew Hartzig, and Josh Webb against Powhatahamu from Potomac, Melvin Shaw, Courtney Shaw, Brian Darnham, Katie Kovac. The Potomac team is throwing yellow, currently down 5-4, but they do have the hammer.
The Potomac team, I think, is throwing red. That looks like Brian Downheim in the hat.
Okay, you are correct. I had my markings are backwards. I apologize. That's what happens when you're that's what happens when you have live TV. So, which actually means that that Melvin Shaw's Potomac team is up 1 but does not have the hammer. In the house at the moment, there is yellow is actually sitting 1 and 2. So Melvin is trying to figure out what he can do because he's got to keep yellow from taking 2 with the hammer, and I'm not sure he can.
Talking about, there's your overhead view.
So
Yellow's top house spread apart.
Melvin's last shot of the game is on the way, or last shot of this draw at least, is on its way. Ryan Darham is on it with the sweeping. Got the hit. Rolled across. It's sitting pretty much naked and exposed on the center line. TJ Burkett from Columbus, all he really needs to do is a nose hit on this to take that for the win.
Yep. Nose hit, scores 2 and wins.
Yep.
If he rolls out, he gets 1 and gets the extra end.
Exactly.
The only thing that doesn't at least get him at least an extra end out of this is a flash.
Yeah. Yeah, flash and Melvin wins. A rollout is an extra end where Melvin would have the hammer. The nose hit is game over. All 3 results are theoretically in play at the moment. And for those of you tuning in expecting to see the 7:45 draw, sorry. We'll have it with you as soon as we get there. The ice team's already working on the other 3 sheets. All right, that last stone is on its way. He's got a sweeper on it pretty hard. Pulled it up. I think they're content with it. They should be. That's game.
No roll.
Broom
or at
shooter
least
gets
not a
minimal roll to the
consequential
outside.
roll.
Exactly. So Melvin Shaw, Courtney Shaw, Brian Darmerham, and Katie Kovacs tournament is over. And the broom shooter 2 team from Columbus, TJ Burkett, Eric Johnson, Andy Hartzig, and Josh Webb, advance to face single barrel at 10:15. All right, that's the end of this draw. We're going to cut off real quick here because we got another draw coming up in like 2 minutes. So we'll be back here just as fast as we get the ice turned around and the video turned around. Join us over there in about 5 minutes. Thank you very much.